Download our app in the App Store and listen to City Worship anywhere, anytime.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Take us with you. Just tell Alexa to play City Worship Radio.
The music I want to hear.
Let us help your city worship.
Welcome to Inspired Living with Cynthia, your weekly dose of purpose, passion, and perspective. This is the space where real conversations meet real inspiration, where we uncover the tools, stories, and insights that help you live boldly, think clearly, and walk confidently into the life you were created for. So settle in, open your heart, and get ready to be uplifted, challenged, and inspired. This is Inspired Living with Cynthia.
I am so excited to have live in studio with me today, Simone McFarland Tucker. She is the CEO of Glamour Tag. She is the executive director and CEO of Girls Leave a Mark, which is her nonprofit. And she recently launched her insurance agency. So I'll let her tell you a little bit more about that later. But we're so excited to have her in studio. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're going to dive right in because I want to get to your story and I want the people to hear all about it. So first, let's start by talking about what does inspired living mean to you?
Inspired living for me is being around people who inspire me to want to get to that next level. Growing up, I would say I hung around people that were just on a different wave. And it kind of shifted my mindset to do things I probably had no business doing, which is part of the reason why I had a kid at a young age. But as I started putting myself in different rooms and being around people who I inspired to be like, it made me want to become like that. And I think I'm getting there.
Well, all right. Well, you just started taking us back to the beginning. What were some of the dreams that you had that, as a child, that still kind of resonates with you today?
Being a teacher. I used to always want to be a teacher. I remember my baby cousins. My baby cousins would come over. I always had to be the teacher because I was the boss. So I had to be the teacher. And I remember teaching them their ABCs, teaching them their colors. And I always thought that I would want to be a teacher as I got older. But then I realized that they don't make real good. And as much as I wanted to be a teacher, I'm like, okay, well, at this point, I'm 19 with 2 kids now. And so I need to find some way to make money, and I don't want to deal with the disrespect that certain kids have. And so I decided to kind of put that to the back burner and got into call center, got into fast food, sold Kirby vacuums for a couple of years. And really found that I love customer service. And so I kind of went down that path. And I still love teaching. I'm actually looking to getting into teaching now. But with my master's degree, I'm looking to be a college professor.
Okay.
Part-time.
Okay. All right. Who were some of your early sources of inspiration? Who did you look to and say, wow?
My mom. Okay. Definitely. Watching her juggle 2 jobs. I remember when she was going to HCC for, I want to say it was her business degree. And she was working at JCPenney's. She was also she was picking up myself and my siblings from daycare and like doing our homework. And she was just like a superhero. Like she always had this cape on, this invisible cape. And I just inspired to be like, kind of like, I just don't see how she did it. And she had to make so many sacrifices for us. She ended up not graduating from high school. From college. She did graduate from high school. She ended up not graduating from college, which is part of the reason why I decided to go to school for business, because it was like, even though my mom is still alive, it was more so in honor of her.
Right, yeah. Right. Okay. All right. Well, every inspirational journey has some valleys.
Yeah.
Could you share a moment of significant challenge or a time that you felt like you were truly stuck?
Oh, yeah. So I could recall with my 2 kids, 19, and we were homeless. And we were sleeping, and I had a Mitsubishi Galant. I remember my son, Trey, he was 20 now, or 21 now. He was like 2 years old, and my daughter, 3 years old, and my daughter was 6 months. And I remember like sleeping outside of my uncle's house. There was reasons why we could not be in the house when he was there, and I just remember like this cannot be it. Like this cannot be it. If I just keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I keep going to work, I know something's better gonna come. And 4 months later, so we was in that car for about 4 months. But we didn't miss a beat. We still ate, still got to go and shower. Every time my uncle would leave, we would be able to go in his house, eat, shower. When he would come home, we would have to come back outside. And I never forget, 4 months later, my mom called and she was like, Simone, because my mom was in a difficult situation as well, so we couldn't live with her. And she calls and she was like, Simone, I just got the letter from Section 8, or from public housing. It's like you got approved for a 2-bedroom apartment in Paul Colton in Lakeland. And I was like, and she was like, I said, well, how am I going to pay my deposit? She was like, I got you. She's like, I just got a bonus from Publix. I got you. And my mom paid for us to move into an apartment. Wow. But we were homeless for almost 6 months in that apartment. Wow. And, I'm sorry, before we got into that apartment, we were homeless for almost 6 months.
Wow, wow, that's truly remarkable.
Yeah.
What were some of the internal stories you were telling yourself during that difficult period?
That I know I could get through it. That God doesn't put more on you than you can bear. And I knew that if I'm really big on showing up for myself, and I knew that if I showed up for myself and I continued to have faith, I'm super, super big on faith. So I knew if I continued to have that faith, I couldn't stay where I was. I couldn't stay stuck in that depressed state, right, because I got 2 kids that's looking at me like, what you gonna do? So I knew that I had to get off my butt. I had to continue to take my butt to work, and I had to show up. And I'm so happy that I did, because had I not, who knows what the outcome. Had I gave up in that moment, I definitely wouldn't have made a year, and it would have been a whole different story. So, yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, we all have those friends that mean well. Mm-hmm. What's a piece of bad advice that somebody gave you that you're glad you ignored? A lot of it, right?
Yeah. So recently we started our insurance agency, and I remember I was telling my friend's husband about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't start no insurance. I got my 215, and I didn't like it. I didn't make any money from it. It just wasn't a good feel. I don't see the purpose of life insurance. And when I go, I go. My family have to figure it out." And I'm looking at him like, are you crazy? I'm like, this is the exact reason why the Black and brown community is where we are now, because of that mindset. And so I'm happy that I did not listen to him, and that I decided to still go ahead and move forward with opening up my insurance agency. And between myself and my team, we now have 30 agents on the team that are getting licensed. Some of them are already licensed. Some of them came in licensed. And God has just really, really been blessing us. We just opened up officially a LLC in the middle of September, but I became licensed in I'm sorry, we opened up the LLC in December, and I officially became licensed in September. Okay. And it has been a phenomenal experience. It has been phenomenal. So if he's watching, I'm happy I didn't listen to you. I ain't going to say his name.
Yeah, please don't.
I ain't going to say his name. I ain't going to do him like that.
Okay. Well, you talked a little bit about, being homeless. Would you say that was rock bottom, or was there another period of time that you just felt like, you know, I'm literally, I can't go any lower. This is rock bottom.
Yeah. So you would think for most people that would be the rock bottom, but really my rock bottom is when I temporarily had to sell drugs. Crazy enough, my third child, he was at, had a different lifestyle. It was kind of an abusive relationship. It wasn't a relationship that I wanted to stay in. When he went to jail, he had just what they call a read up. And so I was like, well, okay. I'm gonna have to sell this stuff, and I'm gonna have to move, because I knew I didn't want to stay in that house. So I had to sell his drugs for us to be able to move. Now, luckily, it wasn't nothing crazy. It wasn't crack or cocaine. It was just marijuana. And after I got off of it, I was able to do what I had to do and get into that place. But it was that for me. That was the rock bottom. Being because that's something I always said that I would never do. You know, even though he did that, I never touched it. I never handled any of that. I worked at the time. I was working at Bright House, but I had just lost my job at Bright House, and I needed to move from that house because we transitioned from public housing when they remodeled Paul Cotton. They gave us opportunity to say, hey, do you want to come back after the remodel is done, or do you want to take Section 8? And so I was like, man, I'm taking Section 8 because then I can go move anywhere. I don't have to live in government assisted apartments. We can live anywhere, and my kids don't have to feel like, okay, well, we're just living off the government. We can go live in any neighborhood that accepted Section 8. And so the house that we had lived in for 6, 7 months, or I'm sorry, 6, 7 years, the landlord, we loved him. He ended up selling the house, and his family moved away, and he sold it to another lady. And she just was just evil. She was just wicked. And she had promised him that she wasn't going to kick us off. But as soon as he sold her the house, that's the first thing she did was kick us off. So I had no choice but to hurry up because I wasn't prepared. He had been arrested. I had no choice but to sell all this stuff. I couldn't leave him in the house. I had to do something with it. So I would say for me, that was my rock bottom when I had to sell the drugs.
Yeah. Well, how did that ultimately serve you? What did that teach you, or what did you decide from there? Never again, or?
Yeah. So for me, that was I'll never be in this position again, and that was depending on one job. So it was always about, okay, what's the next thing? I feel like I'm always like in hustle mode, hustle, and that hustle came from that part of the hustle came from that situation, losing that job. Now I'm stuck with nothing. That was my source of income. And to lose him, which was a source of income, and then to lose my job was a source, that was another source of income. I said I would never be in this situation again. And that's why I'm always doing something. Gotta have multiple streams. Yeah.
Okay, all right. What was the first small step that you took to pull yourself out of challenging times?
Definitely prayer. I'm really big on prayer. I'm really big on if I don't do it, I'd rather do it and regret it than not do it and still regret it and not know what the outcome is. So I would say definitely just moving on faith and my kids. My kids have, anytime I would share like what I wanted to do, my kids would always like motivate me and encourage me. Just do it, mom. If it go, it go. If it don't, it don't. And so I've kind of just moved like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me, is there a specific habit or practice or mindset shift that was absolutely crucial to your growth?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, again, I would definitely say faith again. Recently, I've gotten more into like a spiritual journey, and I've been doing a lot of devotional. But prior to that, prior to even getting into my spiritual journey, just being mindful about who I'm hanging around. If you're hanging around people that don't have the same mindset as where you're trying to go, it's just no matter how hard you fight, it's not that it's impossible. It's just a lot harder when you have everybody around you telling you you can't, or they're living a crazy lifestyle and yet you want to do something different. You have to put yourself around those people who would encourage you to do better. Because when you stay around those people who don't want nothing in life, it's going to make you not care to have anything in life. And I'm speaking from me. Like when I hung around people that didn't want anything in life, they just, wanted to be mediocre. I'm not a mediocre person, I wanted to be excellent, because I consider myself an excellent person. So I need to hang around excellent people and people of value. And when I did that whole shift, even like my social media, like when I cleaned up my social media and got anything that a person posted negative, like, okay, we all have bad days, but if every time I get on Facebook and our social media and you're talking about your baby daddy, talking about your baby mama, you doing this, you doing that, delete, block, delete, block, delete. I am the delete block queen. I will delete and block you quicker than you, quicker than I friended you.
It takes that mind shift.
Yeah, you got to. It's so much negative stuff in the world, and the last thing I want is to, I cut the news on. It's bad. I go outside. It's bad. I don't want to go on my social media page and every time I'm seeing something bad.
Yep, and just be bombarded.
That's like it makes you negative, And I'm a very optimistic person. I always try to see the good in something and in people, and it's hard to do that when you are constantly surrounded by negativity.
Right. Okay. We all have some failures in life. What is the most important lesson that failure has taught you?
To never give up. to always believe in myself.
Right.
And even if I didn't believe in myself, I knew that I had kids that was watching. So if I gave up, what kind of example am I setting for them? See, they can't say, well, Mom, you went to school and you didn't graduate. No, you can't say that. I graduated high school with honors, then went back and got 3 degrees. So it was for me just keep going. One foot at a time, one step at a time. Because my daughter had said something to me, I think it was this morning. She said something about, like, you know how people have set goals. They'll say, oh, I want to go to school. I want to,
Right.
and it takes like 2 years to get like an associate's or 4 years to get a bachelor's. And they'll keep putting it off and keep putting it off. Well, time is going to go regardless.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Regardless
Still
if you
ticking.
make the decision to do it or not, time is going to go. So why not do it? Because it's temporary. And that's one thing I always tell, like, people who I'm mentoring, it's temporary. It's temporary. You're not going to do it forever. It's temporary. So just go through it.
Right.
Because when you go through it and you get to the other side of it, you know, you like, you look back, I did that.
You did that
I
thing.
did that.
All right, all right. So let's move into the now.
Yes.
So let's talk about where you are now. What does the first hour of your day look like? How do you set the tone to live an inspired day?
Devotional. I have gotten really big on devotional. The devotional that I read today, I remember it was Ezekiel. I don't remember the chapter or the verse, but it talked about pretty much. You don't have, you know how people always say, oh, you got to give 20 minutes to God. Oh, you got to, read the Bible for 20 minutes. Oh, you got to do this. You got to do that. And for so long, like up until reading that verse this morning, that's literally what I thought. But then when I read that devotional and it said that whatever the time you give to God is the time you give to God, whether it be 5 minutes a day, 15 minutes tomorrow, 10 minutes the next day. God is creative. So it doesn't need to be like cookie cutter. It doesn't
Right.
have to be perfect. The time you give to God is the time you give to God. When you give it to God is when you give it to God. For me, I like to give that time in the morning because it sets my day. When I don't do my devotional, it's crazy. It's crazy. But when I do my devotional, I'm constantly replaying that devotional in my head. So
Right.
now I'll read the devotional to like I'm in a like with my insurance agents. I'll read the devotional to them because I typically try to do it around 5:30 in the morning, and I would love to get them on a Zoom with me, but they're not gonna be up. And so I just read. They not look. I barely be up, and I'm trying to get better, but some days I be like, I'm gonna sleep in today. But I would definitely say devotional. I play my gospel music. I love some Korean Hawthorne. Not even realizing that her mom's story is very similar to mine. She was raised by a single mom too, who had her as a teenager. And so I love listening to doing my devotional, and I would say my gospel music is what I spend the first part of my morning doing.
Okay. How do you handle off days? You're going to
Off days.
off days.
What that look like? I'm just
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, what about when you're? That's okay. That's okay. No, we really moms never have a day off, but that's a whole nother subject.
Not with
That's
Ryan.
another podcast.
Right. Not with Ryan.
All right. Let's talk about what's your strategy when your motivation is low.
That's a good one. It depends. There was like I want to say it was last week when I was having like a real. I was just in the funk. Now part of it's because my husband had pissed me off.
Okay.
I don't even much remember what we were arguing about, and I just remember feeling like when me and him are like having a disagreement. Even though I did devotional that morning, and the devotional talked about like minding my tongue, and I did not. It talked about minding my tongue, and I just felt like a funk the first part of the day. And so my daughter and I we were at the gas station, and I was like, "Kira, you about to go pass out life insurance flyers?" She was like, "I thought we were going to go to the office and do the business." I'm like, I said, "I need to get out. I need to get in the community. I need to talk to people because me going and sitting in the office, that's just gonna make my vibration stay right where it's at." But I know if I get in front of people and I get to talk about what I'm doing and I get to help them and just hear their story, I know that instantly it's going to make my day better. Got out the car, she pumped the gas because she's been learning how to drive over the last, maybe year, almost year. So got out the car, I'm just passing out flyers to people right there. And it instantly just like lit me up. It just shifted me completely. So getting out in the community definitely is one way of how I bring that energy back up. Being around my kids, because my kids are very, very entertaining. As you saw the few minutes that they were here. My 2-year-old, people always be like, how did you start all back over from a 21-year-old and now you have a 2-year-old? I'm like, listen.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, listen, she snuck in because the doctor told me I couldn't have no more kids. But she is very entertaining. So my kids, being around my family, my immediate family, my kids, my husband definitely helps me when he's not getting on my nerves, and when they're not getting on my nerves, helps me get it back on.
All right. What is a book, poem, or quote that you return to time and time again for inspiration?
Where there's a will, there's a way. My mama used to always say that. Where there is a will, there is a way. So for me, that's like, as long as I woke up on this side of the grass and God blessed me to wake up this morning, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep going. The worst that can happen is it don't. But at least if I don't try, I will never know. My mom used to always say, where there's a will, there's a way. And I truly, I didn't understand it when I was younger, but I definitely understand it the older I get.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely understand it.
Awesome. Okay. How do you define success for yourself today, and what has that definition changed over time?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say, to me, success back in the day was about money, how much money you have. I definitely don't see that as like, I mean, yes, that's part of success. To me, the biggest part of success is setting goals and accomplishing them. So, I had several goals that I kind of had to put on hold because I had kids at a young age. But the biggest accomplishments outside of my kids is being able to say, hey, I did go back and get my associates. I did go back and get my bachelor's. I did go back and get my master's degree. And those are things that I thought were unattainable, because I tried after graduating high school, I had 2 kids. And then I thought, I tried to go back and get my associates. I had to drop out of college twice. So I dropped out at 21 and dropped out at 25 because my kids were young. I couldn't depend on people to watch them.
Right.
And so I said, I'm going to go back and get this degree. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And at 30 years old, I finally made the decision to do it. I was working at Geico. And I don't know how I found out that they'll help pay for college.
Nope.
But I was like, sign me up. Right. I was like, sign me up. So they helped pay for my associates. And then Progressive actually offered me a better paying position and a better pay. And they offered to help pay for my bachelor. So I had got my associates with Geico's help, and then Progressive paid for me, or helped pay for me to get my bachelor's degree. Now my master's, I had to do that myself. But those were, for me, my biggest accomplishments. The one thing I do regret, though, with my master's, that I didn't go and walk the stage. I just let them send me my degree, and then my kids and I all put our graduation gowns on. We went inside my mom because she was in a nursing home. But that is the one thing that I regret, is because that would have gave me an opportunity to go to Las Vegas. I've never been there. And I'm a travel agent. I've never been to Las Vegas. But that is the one thing I regret, is that I didn't get to do that. But regardless, I got the degree.
Yeah, I have my MBA as well, and I didn't walk the stage.
Oh, you had to mail it to you?
Yeah. Like,
do you regret it?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because you can't get those experiences back.
Can't get it back.
So,
Can't get it back.
But that's not going to make me go get a doctorate. So
at all. My husband says, "Man, you're like Dr. Simone. That sounds good." I said, "Yep, if somebody pay for it."
Yeah. I was on Saturday. I was speaking at a Martin Luther King breakfast, and my nephew was there, and he is a doctor. He's Dr. Downing. And wow. So he said, "Okay, now we have Dr. Cynthia Downing." I said, "No, I'm not a doctor. Don't do that on me.
Unless you gonna pay for it, doctor."
But okay, all right. Well, we're getting close to the end here, so I want to just ask you some rapid fire questions.
Yes, ma'am.
And just so the audience can just get to know Simone a little better.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you've shared a lot. Thank you so much for being so open.
Thank you.
But we're going to ask you some random, they may not even go with the conversation. Okay. But here we go. What is a small thing that brings you immense joy?
Family.
Okay, you were ready with that.
Yeah, family.
All right. What is the best advice that you've ever received in 5 words or less?
That was the where where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's the
You
one
can
that
repeat
sticks.
it because
Yeah,
it's a good one. It's
yeah.
a good one. All right. Fill in the blank. The world needs more.
Compassion,
Mm,
love.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would agree with that 100%. All right. One thing that you're most grateful for in this exact moment.
Family. Definitely say family.
Okay. All right. Okay. This one is kind of off the beaten path. Let's
Okay.
see. A favorite scent or sound.
Scent is champagne toast from Bath and Body Works.
Okay. You get us every time.
Yes, when I smell, I'm like, you wearing champagne toast, ain't you? Sound. I love current Hawthorne. Yeah, current Hawthorne.
All right. Um, what's a belief that you hold that many people might disagree with?
I believe in meeting people where they are. Like loving a person. When you got so many people that's always trying to change a person, and I just think you should just meet a person where they are, and then help them get to where you're trying to get them to. But they have to want to do that.
Right.
So if you can't meet them where they are, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right. What is one uninspired activity that you do just for fun? It's okay.
I'm guilty of watching baddies.
Okay, what is that?
If you remember Bad Girls Club from back in the day, it's like a very ratchet version of Bad Girls Club. So the women on Baddies, they are a lot. They are, they
Well, you
party.
use the one word, so ratchet.
Yeah,
I get
yep.
it. I get it. Okay.
Yep.
So you just do that for fun.
Oh yeah, on Sunday at 8 o'clock. That's it. It's just an hour. Just an hour.
Okay. All right. Well, we're getting close to wrapping up. So as we approach the end of this interview, what is one message that you hope every listener takes away from our conversation tonight?
I would say for sure, showing up for yourself is super, super important, regardless and despite of what people around you are saying. That is the biggest advice, no matter what it looks like, no matter how hard it is, no matter what the weather is, no matter how tired you are, show up. Your word is your bond. I'm really big on that too. So if you told somebody you're going to do something, do it. Don't make excuses to get out of it because you never know what blessing is on the other side of that. So showing up for yourself will be the biggest. Yep. The word is
show up for yourself. Okay. What and today, what does showing up looks like for you?
My word is my bond. So when I tell somebody I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, even if I don't feel like it, even if I'm tired, even if I've overcommitted, I'm gonna make it happen because I said I was going to make it happen. So I'm going to make it happen. And one thing I found over the last several years is the things that I did not want to do, I was like, oh, I don't feel like going here. Those are the things that I found the most like joy in. And every time we'll leave, I'll be like, Karen, I am so happy that we went to that event. Like, I met this person, I met this person. And then the events that I'm so like fired up to go to, it's like, I could have stayed home for this.
A little letdown.
A little letdown. So now, when the times that I don't want to go do something, my daughter be like, "Remember, Ma, you always say this when you don't want to go. When you go, let you feel better." I'm like, you know what? Let's go. And usually, it always turns out way better than what I expected.
Let's do it. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, the last thing I'm going to ask is, what's the best place for our audience to connect with you and learn more about your incredible work? So you have some time here to tell me all about all of your businesses and how they can reach you and so forth.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for this time. So you can definitely find me on Facebook at Simone McFarland Tucker. You can find me on Instagram, Simone McFarland Tucker. I'm also on YouTube. My YouTube is doing this little thing. I'm still working on it, but it's the Glamour Mindset. And then on TikTok is the Glamour Mindset. And then our website is www.tagglam.com. And I think that's it. I think that's all of our platforms.
Okay. Tell me a little bit. I forgot to ask earlier. Tell me a little bit about your nonprofit.
Yes, so our nonprofit, Girls Leave a Mark, is a 501c3 located right here in Winter Haven. We support teen parents and at risk youth. We do workshops, we provide resources to them. We also have a boutique, so when they come in, they do our workshops, they're able to earn glam bucks and then they're able to go and shop in our boutique. So the community donates like gently used clothes. We have another donor, Miss Alicia Crawford. She is amazing. Every month she comes in with Pampers and wipes and hygiene products. And so they're able to come and buy like baby wipes, Pampers, soaps, like feminine wash for themselves, and body wash, even for men. Like lately, she's been dropping off stuff for the men too. So they attend our workshops and they're able to come and get items in our pantry for free, because I didn't want it to be where they just come and get stuff. I wanted them to learn, learn something, not just a place where you can just pick up and leave. No, you need to stay, attend the workshop, and then you can use your glam bucks and shop.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, that's the gist of the nonprofit. Now we are in the process of restructuring our nonprofit, because I don't want to just focus on teen parents now. I more so want to. I want to continue focusing on teen parents, but I also want to focus on women from all walks of life, because I always have women reaching out to me that's like, hey, I've dealt with this in my past. I've dealt with this. I've done this. All these things, and I want to be able to provide a resource to them. I want to be able to help them get grants to be able to start that business that no one in their family believes that they can do.
Right.
So that is my goal for 2026, is to take Girls Leave a Mark to a whole nother level. Women leaving a mark.
There you go.
It's gonna be called Lamb. I'm just playing. I'm just.
You heard it first here. So wow, that is so great. That's kind of the principle in the Bible, where you can give a man a fish, or you can teach him how to fish.
Yep.
So you want them to learn something that they can use. So that's really great.
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to share? I know we've talked a lot.
Yes, ma'am. I would say no, but I will. Well, I will take this back. I will say, if you are looking for life insurance, or you're looking for some retirement options, I would definitely love to talk to you. Our consultations are free. That's more so of my focus, is the life insurance and the retirement solutions, and just helping people, set up for success and set up for the future. So if you're needing that, we do free consultations. There's no obligation. If you don't want to purchase, that's fine, but at least you have the information.
Right. Well, thank you so much once again for
Thank
coming
you.
in tonight. I certainly have enjoyed our conversation.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
learned a lot. I thought I knew you, but now I really
Didn't know
you.
me.
So I certainly appreciate that. And thank you all for joining us tonight. And I wanted to share with you that next week I will be joined by my big brother, Dr. Jimmy L. Downing Sr. He will be in the house, and you don't want to miss that. He's going to share some exciting news that he has coming up, and he's going to share a little bit of his story. So we thank you all for joining us tonight. Again, join us here each Tuesday at 7 p.m. for Inspirations with Cynthia. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Inspired Living with Cynthia, your weekly dose of purpose, passion, and perspective. I hope today's conversation encouraged you, empowered you, and gave you something meaningful to carry into your week. Remember, inspiration isn't just something you hear, it's something you live. So take what you've learned, apply it with courage, and keep moving toward the life that's calling you. Until next time, reminding you to stay inspired, stay intentional, and stay true to your purpose. Have a blessed and beautiful week.